so happy, my hair so nappy, had an afro.
What's going on, Gooners? This is a preview for Arsenal versus Aston Villa. But before we go into that, you guys have already probably heard that Mikel Moreno to Arsenal is done. Yes, it's a verbal agreement in place. They've finally come to a consensus for the Spanish midfielder to join the Gunners. And it's going to be 32 million euros with 5 million added on. And it says favourable payments, which means that the incentives are pretty easy for him to hit, probably somewhere in the region of 20 appearances. And I think that they'll probably do that easily. So if you tag that all in, it's 37 million, roughly about 30 million pounds. It's not a bad deal. It's not a good deal. You know, we were hearing something of around 20 million euros. I mean, that was never going to happen because obviously they wanted this guy's a Euros winner. He's done so well there. He's got experience with Newcastle before, and he leads Europe over the last 2 seasons actually in aerial duels. I said this before that Declan Rice had 6 duels, and the person who led Arsenal in duels was Kai Havertz with 12. Double what Declan Rice was doing, but this guy is averaging 30 a game. I mean, he's literally a tackling monster, and as well as aerial duels as well. So he's just lights out and really would provide the steel that Arsenal would need to go in and dominate teams in the middle of the park. So he's got goals in him as well, and as I said, he would just be an asset to Arsenal when you look at what we're trying to do. Yes, so that one is closing, guys. Look forward to a medical probably late tomorrow or early Saturday as he moves over, but he hasn't been involved in Real Sociedad's fixtures. They've held him out because of this transfer, so he will be making his way to London tomorrow. So wait until further news is done on that, but really good news. Also, update on Eddie Nketiah. Nottingham Forest, they're close to agreeing a fee with Arsenal, but the personal terms have already been done. As they look to really come to consensus, you know, Arsenal is not going to take 25. They rejected a Marseille deal for 25. They rejected Forest's deal for 25. They will not take 25. This guy is a 35 million pound player at minimum, but I think Arsenal want to tie up to 30 million and then 5 million in add-on. So that's really where they want to go with that, and they're very strong in terms of what they want, and they will get that. So let's wait for news to happen there. So guys, let's talk about Villa. Now, last season, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to bring this up again, guys, because it's very frustrating. Just 3 days after beating Manchester City, Villa defeated Arsenal 1-0 at Villa Park. It was their 15th consecutive home win, and for the first time in their history as well. 15 games on the bounce. It was also Ben White that failed to track McGinn into the box. So if you look at the field tilt here, guys, Arsenal absolutely dominated the game. They had 2 goals disallowed. Saka had 4. He made it 1-1 just after the hour when he raced through, nicked the ball just past Martinez before tapping it into net. But he was just slightly offside, like slightly offside. And then in the 90th minute, Havertz celebrated what he thought was an equaliser too, but the ball was struck on his arm before he scored. So look, credit to them. It was the second time Arsenal had failed to score in 2 of the Premier League games this season. Or the other one before that was Newcastle away, and they lost 1-0 on that dodgy ball out of bounds and Gabriel pushing it back, a VAR call. But in the home game, Arsenal started the game even better. They ran themselves into oblivion, and I believe after an hour the legs were gone. The Villa used the old rope-the-dope tactics to run Arsenal out of steam, the hare and the tortoise tactics. And this came off the back of an amazing 2024. Remember, guys, Arsenal in the first 4 months of the year, this year, had only conceded 4 Premier League goals in 4 months. That's 1 goal conceded per month. They easily had the strongest defence in the league. But Emilio Martinez, he was outstanding in that game. Now, with Unai Emery last season, those 2 games came to haunt Arsenal. And let's get this straight. As much as you lot want to talk about Unai Emery, he failed at Arsenal. The stadium was half empty, the football wasn't great, and we were losing games. And Arteta had to come in and rebuild that culture from the ground up. And quite frankly, this is the best culture I've ever witnessed at the Emirates in 20 years. And even better than what Wenger had. It's because the culture, guys, is all about getting us involved in what we're doing. And in those Wenger days, the team wasn't really that involved with the fans. When you look at the shirts we're buying now, they're just paying homage to the players, the fans, and it's really bringing everything together. So we're just living in a different kind of twilight now. Now, Emery has lost just one of his 7 games against Arsenal as a manager in all competitions. PSG, Villarreal and Aston Villa. So this is a must-win game for Arsenal, guys. You're on the road against a top rival who beat you twice last year and against a manager who failed at Arsenal Football Club. So what does Arsenal look like at the moment now? Well, Declan Rice is fine after cramping up in that Wolves game. Fabio Vieira has a chance to be involved. And of course, that 3-man midfield, Rice, Odegaard and Partey, needs to dominate games like this. They've got Onana, he scored in his debut against Villa last week. But Thomas Partey against Wolves really showed his mettle. He was our best creative force in the first half, leading the team in XGs and 3 chances created, before kind of falling away in the second half and making a mistake. Now, Kai Havertz, he did not let us down as our main striker, linking up with the goal and, of course, an assist in his first game of the season. That's now 7 goals and 5 assists in his last 9 games as a striker. Only Haaland has a better record over the last 10 games. So let's hope that this flows throughout the season. There will be questions about Martinelli. Will he be given another chance on the left? Or Trossard put back in for consistency? While Zinchenko still battling to keep Ricardo Calafiori and Yuri Timber on the bench, which quite frankly, I think he's already failed at. But Timber, after limited time, he looked decent on the ball and took up a lot of advanced positions, more advanced than Zinchenko. At one point, we saw him on the right supporting Saka too. So I think, guys, Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, David Raya are the rock that this house is built on. A defence that has conceded just 3 times in the Premier League away from home this year. Now, keeping 7 clean sheets in that process, Villa have won 5 of their last 9 Premier League games with Arsenal. They've lost 4, keeping a clean sheet in every time that Villa won. So if Arsenal do score, it's going to create problems for Villa. But I'm going for a 1-0 away Arsenal win, guys. I'm hoping the starting lineup is going to be Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel. I'm looking forward for Timber to come in. But don't be surprised if Zinchenko starts. I just don't like Zinchenko's chances against Leon Bailey. I just don't. Speedy wingers is just not what he signed up for. But I would prefer to see Yuri and Timber in. Of course, Odegaard, Partey and Rice. But then Saka, Havertz and Trossard is my preferred choice. But I won't complain if they put Martinelli in there and then Timber behind him. Because remember, Martinelli just needs that little bit more support. As much as we like to talk about him failing, most of what Martinelli has to do is just create by himself. Because he doesn't have the luxury of what Saka has with Ben White coming in, overlapping, Odegaard popping over there in support. That's an amount of riches that Saka has to play with on the right-hand side. But when you look at what Martinelli has to do, he's really fed crumbs. And that's just simply because of what happens on that left-hand side. So an advanced Yuri and Timber would really, really benefit and pay off for a lightning performance from Martinelli. So let me know what your thoughts is, guys, in the comment section below. And I will talk to you in the next one. Peace out, guys.
We made it this far, so I can't complain. Let's take, yeah,